Hello there, it's Kim again, coming to you with another paper crafting video. My name is Kim. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based out of the Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm coming today to show you the Stampin' Up! 2025 Advent Calendar Day 6. So here's the stamp sets that it comes with. As you can see, it's all year round. We've got Valentine's, we've got birthday, we've got florals, Mother's Day, we've got butterflies, and all kinds of sentiments. So yeah, it's not a Christmas related stamp set. It is all year round for all occasions. Great stamp set to have too. The script on this is really, really nice. So it's always nice to have those extras. Okay, let's crack it open. I'm going to show you what we've gotten so far. I do that every time just so that we can have a recap. So day one, we got some die cuts, some lovely die cuts. Some of them cut out some of the images here. So we've got this flower cut out and this flower cut out. Yeah, and then we've got some standalones in there. Then next up was day number 2, and that was our paper pack. We got a 6x6 paper pack in there. Day number 3, we got these absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous gold pieces. Okay, day 3. Day 4, we got some ephemera. It's actually sentiment boxes. Not really any images in there, just different types of sentiment boxes. Day 5, we got some masks, some floral masks, and a little blending brush. And now let's open up day number 6. What have we got? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have some embellishments in here, if you can see them. Now, this is very different from anything that I've seen with Stampin' Up! I mean, I could be wrong. These may have been in here before, but I've never seen this. So these are like kind of matte, and they are puffy. They're puffy, like they're thicker. They have dimension to them. So they're, well, I mean, they're hard. Well, they're a little bit like squishy. They're not really squishy. I mean, they are hard, but they just seem hollow to me. Like I know I've seen some embellishments like this before, puffy embellishments, but I've never used them before. So we're gonna have to make a card with one of these today. Okay, let's see what we can come up with. All right, we're gonna put this away and put it aside, and then we're gonna pull everything in and have a look at what we can make today. Alrighty, I think, I'm just out the top of my head right now, something that I have not played with yet is the cupcakes. I haven't played with the cupcakes yet. So I think it could be fun to just do a little cupcake card. I think that's what we'll do today. Okay, so we're gonna pull in a sheet of white cardstock. I'm gonna pull out my cutter. We will cut this at 5.5 and score it at 4 1/4. And that's a good card base. Okay, so we've got a nice card base there. Get that started with. Now let's pull out the stamp, see how big we are here. So let's do, we're gonna do birthday wishes, I think. So I'm gonna pull this out. I will work with birthday wishes, but I do want to see this cupcake. Do you know why I was thinking cupcake? Because the first thing I saw in that little set was cherries. Cherries. So the cherry, I'm just going to put a cherry on top of a little cupcake. I think that's what I want to do. Why not? I mean, cherries, maybe more ice cream. I don't know. But I think I like the idea of doing it on a cupcake. Okay, so we are going to clean our stamps and prep them. Get them ready to go. So I I just wipe off that factory residue, and then I just wash it off on a stamping scrub. Just have a stamping scrub next to my desk here. So I'm going to take this, maybe this little square right here. No. This white is a slight bit different than my basic cardstock. So I could do it a little more fun if I brought in maybe a color instead. But I don't really like it against the white. So I'm gonna swap this out for, because I think this cupcake will fit on here just right. Yes, it will. Okay. So I'm gonna swap that out for a color. So let's maybe do we do yellow with a pink cupcake? No. I'm gonna pull in a piece of, let's do Misty Moonlight. Yeah, we'll do Misty Moonlight today. So I've already got this cut, I believe at 4 1/4. Yeah, 4 1/4 width. So I'm just gonna score this at 5 1/2. Yeah, because it was 4 1/4 by 11. So it was the right, you can't really see that, it's probably off camera, by 11. So that was half a piece sheet of cardstock, and then scored at 5 1/2 makes it a half sheet. Okay, so that's gonna go off a little bit better with this lovely gold here. So now I can stamp on this either like this or like this. I think we'll go like this. Do something super simple today. Okay, so then I think I'm going to use this Misty Moonlight. So the cherries have some with Misty Moonlight, some with green. So I'm going to pull off a Misty Moonlight one likely. We're just going to double check our stuff here. What do we want to do? Our cupcake yellow. And then the top, you know what, I'm going to do the bottom Misty Moonlight and the top yellow. And then I'm going to stamp off the yellow to make it not so bright. So let's do Misty Moonlight for the bottom of our cupcake. We shall do that. I'm just going to make sure it stamps off really good. So I'm going to pull in a piece of scrap here. That is a juicy pad. So, okay. I'm like, how can I get to a non-juicy spot? Normally, I would, in this situation, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you that this is what I can do. Okay. You can use a bone folder, but I don't want to get ink all over my bone folder. So just grab a plastic spoon like this, okay? If it's super juicy, I take the ink and I push it to the edge. So I'll just take the ink and push it to one edge, because they come in very juiced up, which is, I mean, good, right? You want to know that you're getting your money's worth with your ink pad, but sometimes they're just a little too juicy, and so they stamp off really. Then you just take a baby wipe here, you just rub off your spoon, and then that gives you a little less of a burst of ink there. So I'm going to try this again. Stamp this and then stamp it off. Yeah, so that's a lot calmer. It's not that it's not covering it in ink, it's just a lot calmer. Okay, so then I'm just going to stamp my cupcake there. Right on there. There we go. Got my lovely cupcake bottom. So I'll put that aside to be cleaned. Then we're going to grab our cupcake topper. So I'm just going to double test this over on my thing just to make sure I kind of like the color before I really commit to that piece of paper, right? Let's see. That's way too bright of a yellow. So yeah, I'm going to stamp it off once. So I'm stamping it off once, and then I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to place this right above my cupcake. So I'm getting a more subdued yellow, right? There we go. That's cute. I could have done it in pink too, but I kind of like the yellow color because I think I will use pink either for the sentiment, or I will use Old Olive for the sentiment. So it can be quite a neutral card. Going to the front here. That's looking cute so far. Let's put our cherries on top. So I'm just using my take your pick tool to pull it off. And then I'm just going to put my cherries right on top of my cupcake there. My little puffy cherries. Okay. So now I've got a cute little cherry on there. Then I'm going to pull in a scrap of white, just a simple scrap of white. And we're going to pull in our, I pulled those out already. Pulled those stamps out already. There we go. I put all the other stuff on top of there. Okay. So now we're going to do birthday wishes. And how do I want to do birthday wishes? I think it's going to be either green or pink. Let's do them both. Let's stamp both the green and the pink. So let's pull in our block again. I'm just going to clean that off. Got a little bit of yellow in there. Okay. So I always lay my stamp nice and relaxed. I'm going to pick it up, pull out my pink and my green. And then you can tell me, you can see I've done the exact same technique here where I've pushed the ink across. I can pull it back when I really need it, like when it's low on ink, I can pull that ink back. Okay, got birthday wishes on this side. I'm going to do it in pink. The more you stamp with your stamps, the easier they are to hold the ink. So they just get better as they age, like fine wine, right? Just gonna grab a little more water. My water is a little low on my Stampin' Scrub here. So my Stampin' Scrub is just this lovely thing here. What you do is you spray water on one end, or you like soak it with water. You spray your water on one end, and then this end is your wet end. So you just do that, or you can use, they also have another stamping thing, but it's not wet, and that's this little cleaner pad here, but you have to get it wet. It has to stay wet. Okay, and then you just dry it off on the dry side. So there we go, we've got it. Now it's all ready to go with the green, right? Here we go. Let's grab our green now. This one's juicy too, I can tell. Juicy pads. Okay, now I'm going to grab it and figure out which one I want on there. So we could pull in the green, place that there, or we could pull in the pink. Ooh, I don't know. Green, pink. I don't know. I also think I'm noticing that difference in the white again too, which I'm not really enjoying. So, what else could I do? I could grab a yellow strip, tiny little strip of yellow here, and then I could do tone on tone, which is another fun way. But that yellow is just way too bright for the yellow that I put there. So we could do tone on tone maybe with some pink. Let's pull that in. Yeah, we could do the pink and do tone on tone. That could be fun. Or we pull in the blue, do tone on, no. That's just way too dull. This is our green, too dark. I think we might be having to do the pink there. Just keeping in with the colors that we're using, right? So if I was to take this pink, I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap here. Yeah, that'll work. And I would do tone on tone. So tone on tone is by stamping with the same color that it is. And it works quite well. You would never think. You would think it would just bleed into itself, but it doesn't. It creates a lovely stamp. Or you can pull in Versamark ink, which leaves a watermark kind of effect. So I can just do tone on tone here. I'm just going to stamp birthday wishes on top of my pink here. Birthday wishes. See that tone on tone? That's great, right? It's just very subtle. Very, very subtle. Okay, now I'm going to pull in my cutter. Again, I'm going to cut this off because this was a folded card, so it's got a little scrap on it. So we're just going to cut that down to 5/8 of an inch. Stay still, please. Here we go. All right. Birthday wishes. We can flag the ends of that. So I'm just going to cut here and here. And we'll just flag the ends. So always cut in the center. Well, to make it easiest, cut in the center and then cut from your two ends towards that center point. And that will make a great little flag. Great little flagged end for your sentiment. Now I don't know why. There we go. I had the I didn't close my scissors enough. So the tiniest little bit left. There. And there. Okay. So we would just pop that up, pop this up, and, you know, to make it a little more popped up and fun, I'm actually going to grab another piece of this and I'm going to do a picture frame like I did yesterday. So the size of this piece is 2 inches by 2 inches. So I'm going to go 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Pull this in, cut my 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, oh, 2 1/4, and then at a, let's see, no, I should have done it a little bit bigger. Let's do that a little bit bigger. I got extra paper here. Let's go 2 1/2. There we go. 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And then on that 1/4 of an inch, I'm just going to go around at a 1/4 of an inch and I'm going to score just like I did yesterday with the other card. I'm just scoring grooves in here to make it look like a little bit of a picture, like a frame. So it's like using an embossing folder. You're getting like a texture to it. So we do that, then we do that. So then we've got a little bit of texture to that. Pop it up. And you know what? I'm going to grab a little bit of the flamingo. Let's do some layering here. Layering with paper is a super easy thing to do. It doesn't take a lot to do it in your project. And it just adds a bit more to the project. So I'm going to take a little piece of pink here. And I'm going to do this 2. Do I have an 1/8 of an inch around? Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, so let's go 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Ew, that edge was not straight. I obviously hand cut that edge off there. So 2 3/4. I don't know what I did with that other piece of paper. Nobody will know. 2 3/4. There we go. Pop that one up. Put that one on that one. This one on this one. I'll pop up that one, and then this one, and then this is not a bad card. Very, very, very simple card. Does the trick. Oh, I've lost my scoring blade off there. And then if we pop all these elements up, this will make a very simple, plain, easy card. Okay, so I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to place, do I want to pop that one up? Yeah, just because I've got those effects in the back there. You know what? I want to do another score line. Just because that one is getting hidden under. So I had it at 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to move it to an 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Go around the corners. Go around everything. So an 1/8 of an inch. There we go. 1/8 of an inch. Ooh, make sure I get that right before I score it. 1/8 of an inch, and then another 1/8 of an inch. There we go. Yeah, that's fun. Do you see the 2 lines there? I don't know if you can see those. But yeah, there's like 2 lines on it. So it looks like I did some extra stuff, and I didn't. I just used a cutter. So I'm going to adhere this to this. Let's do that. And you can always go bump up or bump down. Actually going with the depression on it, rather than the bumped up. Going with the depression. Let's depress that up. Okay. I'm going to pull in some dimensionals. Put some of those on my lovely little stamped image here. You take your pick to pull the backings off, because that's a very easy trick to do. If you haven't had one of these, they are fabulous. So we're going to pop that up. Oh, I can see one of my little factory nibs there. With the laser cuts, there's always these little factory pieces that come in. Okay, so I've got some nice texture on that. Perfect. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pop it up again. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't pop it again, just because there's that embellishment is actually puffy. So if I don't want to overdo it, I want to take it easy. I'm just going to put that directly on. Okay, so Stampin' Seal again. Now, in hindsight, I would say probably put the puffy piece on last, just because I feel like I'm squishing it as I'm putting it on. But this one here, I'm going to pop up. So I'm going to use my dimensionals again. Pull in those again. I always find 3 points is really good for stability. Everything in 3s or odd numbers, right? Always good visually, good for stability. When you're rock climbing, you were supposed to put 2 points on. So either 2 feet and a hand, and you could have one hand free trying to go to the next thing, or 2 hands and 1 foot stretching around. Okay, then I've got my birthday wishes on there. So that's a very simple card. Very simple card, but it does the trick. Does the trick. Do I want to put some embellishments on there? Nah. I could add a couple of little cupcakes on there, though, if I wanted to. I could Put like a little puffy sticker one right next to the big one here. Yeah. It could look cute, but I do really just love that that cherry is just getting its own moment. We're going to give that cherry its own little moment. But yeah, this is what we got today, was these little puffer stickers. Pretty fun little embellishment. So that was today. We made a little card with our little puffy, as you can see here. You can see it, right? It's got a little bit of dimension to it, our little puffy stickers. Now, and that's brand new. Like, I've never seen those before. So to finish this up, I would put a piece of paper inside, probably stamp it with another, maybe even put one of the little puffy stickers inside to put it in the corner, a little cupcake. And that's it. That's it for today. I hope this inspired you to create yourself. Take a little time for yourself. The holidays are so busy, and I think the one beauty thing about this advent calendar is it allows me to take a little time for myself between all the wrapping and prepping and budgeting and all the things. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.